Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Our special guest of honor has joined us, so we have to kickstart this event. So, if you're still standing, you are not. Thank you. Please let's just have our seats as we get ready to kick off this event.
Yes, we have some guests to be recognizing, and we'll do the recognition and move on to the national anthem. First is to recognize the presence of the NHIF DG, Professor Mohammed Nasir Sambo. He is here. You're welcome, sir. Okay, followed by Hassan Aliyu Karofi, the Director of PDN Communications, Development Research and Project Center, DRPC. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. We also have in our midst Dr. Adeze Ora. She is the country director of Planning, Research, Statistics for Nigeria's National Health Service Commission. Please, thank you so much. Also in our midst this morning, Hassan Aliyu. Stanley Kubai, that's the Director of Projects, Development Research, and thank you so much. Where are you? Let's just get away. Thank you so much, Stanley. We appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to Stanley Achono, Nigeria Country Director, One Campaign. You're welcome, sir. Okay, and Dr. Emmanuel Alassane, Nigerian Coordinator of Global Health Advocacy Incubator. You're welcome.
Of course, let's recognize the presence of the Director General of the NHIS, Mohammed Nasir Sambo, and of course, he's the Executive Secretary. You have to recognize, we appreciate you. Everyone who's here today, you are special to us. And we recognize you, we appreciate you for being here. So, at this moment, please let's all rise. Of course, we sing the national anthem of Nigeria. So officially kickstart this event. We'll take the second stanzas. Please remain standing. That will be our opening prayer.
Guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to go, and living us and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign.
Well, thank you so much. This morning we asked the fact that, of course, the future of health in Nigeria has to be secure. Please take your seat as we kickstart this event. And if you look at your program, the next thing we're supposed to have on our agenda is a YouTube video to tell us about Nigerian Health Watch. I'm sure most of us here know about Nigerian Health Watch, but just a little background as to why we're all gathered here. And I'm going to put the honors.
Thank you very much, Amaka. And since 2015, up to date, Nigerian Health Watch have been organizing a official event conference, and the conference has aimed to bring together, stakeholders within the health sector and beyond to discuss on issues pertaining to health, and also provide solutions to some of those issues. And here we are, 2022 Future Event Conference, and you're wondering who are the brains behind this conference. That is why we're playing this video, to shed some light on who Nigerian Health Watch is. So as you watch the video, just pay attention and see what you can pick about Nigeria time. Never know. Thank you very much as you sit and listen.
Nigeria Health Watch is a non-governmental health communication and advocacy organization that seeks to advocate for better health care for all Nigerians. We are guided by the belief that health is a right and every Nigerian should have access to affordable quality health care. Since our inception in 2007, we have provided informed commentary and in-depth analysis on health issues aimed at advocating for better health care for Nigerians. We have worked to actively engage and support the government in raising awareness and increasing knowledge on a wide range of health issues in Nigeria. Our unique capacity lies in our communication expertise, using a wide range of tools, including print, podcasts, and social media to enable our advocacy efforts. We have used our convening power to organize health policy dialogues, events, and webinars, bringing together policymakers and health experts to propose solutions to the many health challenges in the country. Our evidence-based communication and advocacy has focused on health issues ranging from maternal, newborn, and child health, routine immunization, epidemic preparedness and response, universal health coverage, nutrition, and family health. We have worked with the following government ministries, development partners, and non-governmental organizations. We remain focused on using the health information and need of health professionals and the population in Nigeria. We are Nigeria Health.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Nigeria Health Watch as we welcome the Managing Director and co-founder, the brains behind Nigeria Health Watch, an incredible woman. Just yesterday, the day before, I'm sure you must have seen her on TV, accepting a national award, of course, on behalf of Dr. Chikwe Ihepanze, one of our pillars here in Nigeria, just a family of healthcare professionals, ensuring that the future of Nigeria's health is protected. Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you very much for that opening. And thank you all ever so much for coming as well. It's really wonderful to see so many familiar faces. We're really pleased that it's had that and the work. Welcome to for us, Nigeria, the future health care is a special one. And as we've experienced in the last 2 years, we've had to do this event online. So it's actually quite exciting for us to be able to come back and do this event in person. And who's willing, we will be able to continue to have these special events in person. So it's amazing. It's quite unbelievable for us. So this is actually the 8th edition. When we first started in 2015, the whole idea behind us was flagship events every year because we do hold school and college dialogue throughout the year, was to really look at the health sector more from a macro perspective, what are the issues that are impacting everything we do in healthcare. How can we create a platform that can meet policymakers, decision makers, health professionals, so when we started in 2015, the theme was defining the health sector quality. I think today we are still defining that. We continue all our different spheres of work to look for a better Nigeria where healthcare is prioritized, given that's important along everything else that we face today. And as I mentioned, it was the 8th edition. And today is actually quite a special day because we actually have to meet on our previous starting with the executive director, Universal Global Health, who was here in 2015. And I remember back then we were asking the question, who would be our UHC champion? And that actually was like an election year. And that was when we really started having discussions on why universal health coverage is really important. And then in 2016, our health league we had Dr. Ola Brown, who was, and let me take this opportunity to congratulate Ola Brown for being conferred a member of the Federation of Nigeria. So big applause for your award for the national resolution. And then Dr. Amina Brai, who was also here in 2019. The theme was we always talk about the importance of access to healthcare, but we know that without quality, and access is not all that is there. That's important. So the theme for 2022, as most of you have seen, is investment in the future of Nigeria. Why do you think this year? I think for many of you self-evident. You can understand the political implication of how health decisions are made. You understand that in order for health to receive its rightful place in the national priority of the country, we need our leaders to also place health at the top of their priority. And we as a health sector sometimes we also experience factors when we want to talk about health, we want to invest in health. There is often that prioritization, things that seem more evident in structure, get that great priority. That is not to say, by the way, that those are more important, but you know, if you don't have good health, then everything else, education, although we know education has helped with us, you know, makes you feel but unless you have good health, then everything else in the experience is it's not as useful. And you know what COVID-19 is? We're not just Nigeria, and you know, if we don't have good health, then our economy is impacted. And we know what it has impacted. So 2022 was an important year when we actually took this is a very important year. We have an election next year. This is really the time to make our full condition. To increase health advance health condition. Because health in a way shouldn't be at the will of politicians. The political decision making should prioritize health, ultimately that's what we are leaders. So we acknowledge that we have achieved and that has now, you know, I'll make a few examples of things we achieved or not. So 2018, we had the publication of the 2025 by the National Academy of Budget. This is a huge milestone. As we know, the position is to meet the National Health Act. So in 2018, we got the publication, that was a celebration. I know Nigeria has from many of the society organizations really pushed for this to come through. 2018 was also the monumental Mind Survey. The Nigerian government is in that survey. So there was a cross-sectional survey that assessed prevalence of HIV. And that was very important because that gave us clear information about the HIV. And we all knew that, you know, without data, then we won't be able to make informed decisions. And of course, 2018 was also finding facts to establish the Nigerian control. And again, this is very important. Operates and price that has been rolled out, and it's not for the fact that we have that. All of these things are mainly due to this program and many others. And 2022 also we have signing of National Insurance Authority Act, which would give the National Insurance and this is especially at state level. So we all know the politics, we know the problem, but this really is a window of opportunity to ensure that our goods and services, when we need them, we talk about what we expect them to do if they're within our roads. And that's why health has to receive that greater priority. So So this budget transition is very important. You know, in Nigeria, elections are not one, almost based on what you mentioned is, you know, I don't know or governor, didn't get elected. Not as a right of child. We know our economy is a really important Nigeria. So we have to go and ensure that we deliver the health care that's also necessary. So we have a really great idea to do the university program. And it's very diverse. But there's money to increase the and additional. And we encourage all of you to use this resources as an opportunity to some of the things you get from them online. To network with one another. This event also build relationships with folks to one another. So if you speak to your the next people from the next year, find out what they're doing. Just opportunities, great. So we get to share what we're doing in our individual areas as well. We also have really great moderators that we use by our agencies. And they will introduce all the people and all buyers will see our offer. So without further ado, I'm going to just once again, really thank you for everything that you're all. Thank you very much once again. Even for the time of spending this day. We have a great lineup, so sit back, engage, your questions. And yes, we look forward to seeing you in the future. And we hope, as I mentioned, that you too, the health sector will be. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Managing Director of Nigerian Export, and of course, the mentor of the Global Sats 1000 Women Initiative. Incredible lady. Of course, we're all here together, charting a new course for the future of health in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amanda. Ladies and gentlemen, you agree with me that what Vivian kept repeating, is that it's time for us to engage the political class. Engage with them, and we need to ask them questions as to what their portfolio will be for health. What are they going to do for us in the health sector? And that is very key. While Vivian was speaking, some of our partners also stepped in. Want to acknowledge the Selkie Associate Director of Advocacy with GHI. You're welcome, Anne. You're welcome. And Dr. Kayode Ajayi, Country Director, Riders for Health. You're welcome, Dr. Kayode. All right, thank you.
I appreciate you, Dr. Kayode. Dr. Omokudu Idogo, the MD, Society for Family Health. Just give us a wave so we can appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Professor Chimezie Anyakora, CEO, Blue Public Health. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, we're all appreciative of all of you for being here. And remember the hashtag. Let's keep those tweets going. We see those beautiful faces, although they've reduced now. But I guess who are just joining us, well, we started a conversation that we said it's important for us to plan for the future of health in Nigeria. So we're all tagging Nigerian Health Watch and using the hashtags Politics of Health NG, as well as Politics, that's FHC 2022. And if you can put a selfie in there, take a picture so everyone who's at home or online can actually see that you're here having this conversation with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to thank our sponsors, starting with Pathfinder International. Can we just appreciate them? DRPC, UNDP, these are platinum sponsors. We want to appreciate you for sponsoring this event.
Quite incredible. APIN is a silver partner. Please give a round of applause to them as well. Society for Family Health. A round of applause for Society for Family Health. Fan Access Foundation. And not forgetting Selena. They are all supporting partners. We appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you very much. And at this juncture, we'll be watching the videos of some of these partners as they project the IT.
The Development Research and Project Center is a Nigerian non-governmental organization that is catalyzing and supporting development interventions, targeting vulnerable, underserved, and excluded as a catalytic third sector organization, bringing together and building the capacity of development stakeholders, working for sustainable social and economic development.
Can you say that civil society
Working together over the years has been very impactful for the Mental Health Association of Nigeria. I commend the Executive Director of the Development Research and Project Center, DRPC, for putting together this event. Representative of Development Research and Project Center, Great Ambassadors again.
Thank you, DRPC.
DRPC, please can we not forget this?
Our health outcomes are tied to decisions governments make.
I'm an advocate for public health.
It's a hard job.
We're analyzing these complex political power structures.
The legal frameworks and precedents do not really inertia, special interests. With a lot of money and power. You're cultivating journalism.
Building a story about why your issue matters.
And while you're dealing with all that, people are dying.
It's urgent.
In India, millions of people in remote areas were at high risk for heart disease, but didn't have access to medical care.
In Tanzania, women were suffering life-threatening complications in childbirth.
Here in Mexico, 70,000 people were dying on the road each year.
In Vietnam, thousands of children were dying from drowning.
We're changing that now.
Look, who's going to invest so that even those who can't afford it have access to quality healthcare?
We'll enforce nutrition standards in schools. Who will prevent the next pandemic?
We will.
Because it's our lives on the line.
It's our job to get policies passed that will protect
That
us.
make us healthier and safer.
To push governments
To hold the government accountable.
If we don't advocate, things don't change.
It has to come from us.
These policies affect all of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to our partners. Of course, universal health coverage is possible, but it will take all of us putting our hands together, having these conversations and chatting a new way forward for that to really happen. And let me also appreciate a special guest who has just joined us right now, Ekanemi CJ, the CEO, ACIOE Associates. Please, wherever you are, let's see a wave so we can give a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, you will agree with me that Nigeria, as a giant of Africa, has a lot of work when it concerns health. Budgeting less than 10% year in, year out is unacceptable. Yes, we have that challenge, but some would say it's beyond how much is budgeted. Are we prioritizing it right? Are we directing even the meager funds in the right direction? So that way we see less of women who are giving life die in the process, or children under the age of 5 not celebrating their birthdays because of basics. And of course, to help us have a conversation in that direction as it concerns budgeting for Nigeria's health sector, as well as every aspect that will, get us to be that giant that we deserve to be on the continent and beyond. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akagweze, as he got ready for his speech, but he's actually ably represented this morning by Professor Olumide Ayodele. He is the technical advisor to the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation. He gives us a keynote speech this morning, as of course. Please give him a round of applause as he makes his way to the podium.
Thank you. I bring greetings from the Director General Budget Office of the Federation. He would have loved to be here himself, but presently is part of the Nigerian team advancing the cause of development in DC on the ongoing annual meetings of the IMF and the World Bank. He has asked me to represent him today, I believe, in subsequent events of the foundation. He will be able to call himself, considering his commitment to advancing the health agenda in Nigeria and partnering with the private the civil society in doing that. The title of his speech is Financing Healthcare Sustainably in Nigeria. So let me read his thoughts. Keynote address by Akagweze, Director General Budget Office of the Federation, at the 8th Future of Health Conference held today at Presa Suits. Permit me to stand on already established existing protocols. It is my honor to deliver a keynote address on this auspicious occasion of the 8th Future of Health Conference. The consistency of the Nigeria Health Watch in organizing the Future of Health Conference since 2015, focusing on topical issues, is both remarkable and commendable. This year's theme, the political economy of health, investing in the future of Nigeria, is very germane. It provides the opportunity to discuss key determinants of health outcomes, various options available for sustainable healthcare financing in Nigeria, and measures for more effective healthcare service delivery across the country. The importance of better healthcare services for economic growth and development cannot be overemphasized. Health investments serve as a catalyst for economic growth through higher labor force, higher labor productivity, innovations, income growth, and improved well-being of the population. It is generally said that health is wealth. A healthy population engenders economic prosperity. It is therefore imperative to ensure significant investment in health, effective delivery of healthcare services, and equitable access to healthcare services in Nigeria. Health is high on Nigeria's development agenda. In view of the immense social and economic returns of healthcare investment, a key objective of the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 is to enable a healthy populace. On the recent trends in federal healthcare financing in Nigeria, you must have heard just now that Nigeria currently allocates less than 10%, to health. The budget office, is of the view that we are yet to have the comprehensive data on the actual amounts that we invest in health. That takes into consideration the allocation to the Ministry of Health, headquarters and its agencies, basic healthcare provision funds, allocation for immunization regularly. The idea of these different agencies of the Ministry of Health and other health-related spending in other sectors, and critically through other investment by partners, through multilateral and bilateral funding and grants. So we are waiting to be able to see actually how much Nigeria invests in this sector at the federal level, at the state level, and at the local government level. This way, we'll be able to know the adequacy of the investment. And then, as we compare country data, we also need to take into consideration the different fiscal systems. You see that in the Nigerian situation, our fiscal structure is such that we have the federal, the states, and the local government. And these subnational governments are, by and large, fiscally independent. So it's important to be able to have this data across the 764 local governments, across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, so that we're able to know actually how much goes into health. Resource mobilization, allocation, as well as payment mechanism are very critical in determining the reach, availability, and affordability of healthcare services to those that need them. The Budget Office of the Federation recognizes the strong positive relationship between the country's economic development outcomes and the availability, quality, access, cost, and delivery of healthcare services. You see, it's an opportune time for Nigeria. This administration, leadership of the administration is reform-minded, and there are people that are keenly interested in promoting the health agenda. As you see from data, there has been a remarkable increase in allocation to health since the beginning of this administration, because of the keen interest of the leadership of Mr. President the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning in the sector. In recognition of the importance of health as a key determinant of economic well-being and development, the government has accorded high priority to health investment financing over time in the budget in order to meet the health SDGs and achieve the universal health coverage. The federal government budget for the health sector has more than doubled over the past 5 years. Allocation to the sector was increased by 170% from 305.1 billion naira in 2016 to 823.5 billion in 2022, and further at 33% to 1.1 trillion in 2023. This figure is exclusive of health-related expenditure in other 10 years and grants which are held early. Allocations to agriculture and wash sectors follow similar pattern. So we see that the strategy of government is to significantly increase allocation to the sector and also take into consideration the need to improve spending on agriculture to promote food security and nutrition, increase allocation to the environment, to improve sanitation, increase allocation to water resources to ensure that we're able to promote the health of the people. Because if you are allocating a lot more resources to these wash sectors, you'll be able to prevent outbreak of diseases. A dedicated line was also created in service-wide goals in the federal government budget for Gavi counterpart funding for ease of administration. The line has consistently been funded as required, and government remains committed to contributing to two-thirds of the total expenditure of $3 billion over the period 2018 to 2028. In addition, the funds earmarked for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund has been made a statutory transfer from 2021 for more effective implementation. I thought you would clap for the government because that is very important. The government recognizes the push for this fund to be created, but it's one thing to have the fund, it's another thing for the fund to be released as I went through. And what government has done is to put it on the first line charge to ensure that these funds are released timely. Our government's ability to finance healthcare is currently constrained by inadequate revenues and fiscal drainage. We are aware of the current fiscal situation of the country. We are aware of the issue of subsidies, the fact that subsidies has reached 4 trillion naira, and the decision of government to discontinue subsidy funding by the middle of next year. Recent economic recessions negatively impacted revenue collection efforts amidst expectations for higher spending to replace the economy, protect vulnerable individuals and businesses, as well as restore growth. In addition, the incidence of COVID-19 requires significant additional spending to address the health challenge. As expected, government will not be bullish with the implementation of its revenue growth initiatives during this period. In effect, the two recessions we recently had significantly compounded the systemic problem of government revenue mobilization. At 8% of our tax to GDP ratio, this is very low compared to our peers. The ratio of various components of government revenue to GDP indicates capacity to do more, a lot more, to improve our fiscal space. Government's target over time is to increase the revenue to GDP ratio to 15% by 2025. Tax rates and compliance ratios are also significantly higher in comparator countries. For instance, Nigerian VAT is the lowest in Africa and less than 50% of the average rate. To compound matters, the country has technically been at war with pervasive security challenges across the nation. This has necessitated massive expenditure on security equipment and operations. Now, this is to say that government sees the needs. Government sees the needs to invest significantly in health, the asset, but there are challenges. With security challenges, with revenue, it becomes difficult for government to be able to allocate as much resources as would have loved to, given the current situation. Despite budget constraints, provisions are made for personnel overhead and capital costs for federal health institutions. Most health institutions also have been permitted to spend their internally generated revenues. The sector is also prioritized in the release of funds. Government is currently implementing revenue collection and expenditure management reforms. As government revenue mobilization efforts yield more results over time, we hope current fiscal constraints will ease to allow for greater public sector health investment. Significant growth in revenues will guarantee increase in health sector allocation and direct accretion to the basic healthcare provision fund. Government remains committed to the provision of effective healthcare services and the various commitments on the Gaza, commitments on the allocation to the sector in general, commitments on the basic healthcare provision fund, and the allocation to primary healthcare services. The federal government remains to optimize healthcare financing. We urgently need innovative and sustainable financing arrangements to further strengthen the healthcare system in Nigeria. And that is why the Director General feels this meeting is very important, because with the stakeholders being present and with ideas coming up, we'll be able to, at the end of the conference, have innovative ways through which we can sustainably finance the health sector in Nigeria. In view of private sector's ability to deliver efficiently, federal public health institutions have been advised to explore the potentials of the various forms of the public-private partnership arrangement and to partner with private sector actors in the provision of health facilities and other health-related services. However, we must draw lessons from previous contract arrangements. And by this point, the Director General is saying that there are services within the health sector, in the health institutions, that the private sector can commit their resources, like laboratory services, provision of critical equipment, in order to reverse medical tourism. So health institutions don't necessarily have to depend on the resources coming from the budget in order to be able to finance the provision of these critical equipment and machines and facilities that are required. The attractions of the PPP approach include access to private sector capital to reduce pressure on the public budget, better allocation of risks to a common partner who is best qualified to handle them, efficiency gains, that is cost-saving benefits, building on the expertise and cooperative advantages of each partner. And very importantly, the DG also believes that we urgently need to fully automate our payment systems in the different health institutions to plug revenue leakages as a matter of importance. However, it is important to note that the overall investment climate plays a significant role in influencing the interests of the private sector in PPP infrastructure projects. Among other factors, policy continuity and consistency are very, very important. And that is why it's of the view that this conference is coming at an opportune time, given the fact that there is going to be a regime shift. There will be a new administration by the middle of next year. And that means that it's important that there shouldn't be policy somersault. There should be continuity in policies, in programs, and in projects, so that we can be able to achieve the desired outcomes. It's also important to bear in mind that the effective delivery of public healthcare services is a shared responsibility between the federal and subnational governments. Indeed, the manifest primary healthcare delivery issues are largely the responsibilities of states and local governments. Hence, subnational governments also need to step up funding of health. He notes that there's so much focus on the federal government. Maybe because federal government is easily accessible. Well, in Abuja, we can easily reach out to federal Ministry of Health, and local governments are many, 774. But you see, for us to achieve the health outcomes, local government funding is very, very critical. Primary healthcare centers must be functional. They must be well equipped. They must be manned with very, very skilled manpower. So we need to extend the advocacy to subnational levels, to local government, to state government, to find out how they are allocating their resources in the health sector, how much is going into health and for what, and the delivery of services associated with such allocation and such spending. As a matter of priority, we must identify and address non-financial constraints to effective public care delivery in Nigeria. It's important for government at all levels to improve allocating the efficiency of health sector expenditures while improving transparency and accountability frameworks for allocated health sector funds. With improved allocation amidst scarce resources, we must focus on increasing the absorptive capacity of the health sector, ensuring efficient utilization of our limited resources, and value for money on all expenditures. We must also overcome current experience of procurement delays. It is surprising that we are looking for more resources for this sector, and some of the funds are borrowed, and we pay interest on them. And at the end of the day, some of these funds are returned to treasury. When you look at the budget implementation report, you will see that health sector is one of the sectors with less than 100% utilization. So advocacy needs to go into this sector. So look at to determine the challenges, towards effective utilization of the resources that are provided. Maybe there are procurement issues, And the FDAs have been advised to start their procurement early in order to be able to efficiently, effectively utilize the resources that are provided. No Minister of Finance will provide more funds to an MDA that does not have absorptive capacity. To demonstrate the ability to use the funds that has been provided so that it can be able to get. We also need to pay greater attention to targeting public health expenditure to ensure that appropriate revenues are raised where possible while maintaining adequate and quality services. Health is a public good. There are people that have the ability to pay, and we can separate those that have the ability to pay from those that don't have the ability to pay. And we can, in providing services, so those that have the ability to pay, generate enough funds that we can use to be able to provide efficient services, quality services to the less privileged. Overall, greater emphasis needs to be placed on transparency and accountability, as citizens need to be involved and consulted beyond formal oversight mechanisms. Governments, civil society, and business associations need to shape and monitor health interventions to ensure that they have the desired impact. At the end of the day, it is not how much money is allocated to the sector, it is not how much money is released to the sector, it is not how much money is spent, it is how much health we get from these resources. And all stakeholders need to be involved, effectively engaged to ensure that we get more health from these spendings so that we can reduce the rate of mortality and so that we can enhance the productivity of Nigerian workers, and so that we can achieve the desired growth. And it is as the economy grows that government will be able to mobilize resources that will be able to finance spending. So it's a loop. It's a loop. So health is important. This conference is timely, this conference is important. And DG wants to congratulate you on this momentous occasion. While wishing you fruitful deliberations, we look forward to the key outputs of the conference for more sustainable financing and improvement of the Nigerian health system. Thank you very much.
Please, I think the DG deserves a round of applause. Yes, the DG noted a number of things, starting from that health is not a standalone sector, there must be a multi-sector collaboration. We have WASH, we have education, and we have different sectors that are supposed to play, this role together to achieve the better health care for Nigerians. And also, we pointed out the subnational, involvement in funding health. It's not just the federal government, the states, the local government should be involved. And finally, he mentioned issue about accountability. It's not about spending money, going money, but how are we utilizing these monies and are we accounting for these monies? Thank you so much, the DG representative, Professor Ayodele, for that insightful speech. And without no further ado, we're moving on to Hakeem Bello. Hakeem Bello is the chairman, Metis Capital Partners, and he will be doing the opening presentation. While we get to him, we want to appreciate our online participants. Can we just give a round of applause to them, please? We have over 60 of them. In our last count, we have 60 of them participating online. Yeah, and more people are joining, and the conversation will keep moving on. So if we're ready for the opening presentation, Hakeem Bello or Sagi, over to you, sir.
Good morning. Is this a very clear line, please?
Yes, yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right. Good morning. I say good morning because it's about 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm calling from Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's an indication of how seriously that I take this topic.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry, can you put on your camera if you don't mind?
Unfortunately, the line I'm using it's rather constrained, and so I'm afraid that I will lose this line. So it's probably best that I speak without the video.
All right,
okay.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much. I'd like to express my appreciation to Vivian for the invitation extended to me. I'm calling you from the university campus in the United States where I now teach. And I'd like to also congratulate our husband Chikwe on the national award that he received. This is an award for investment, for all health professionals who did such an outstanding job in ameliorating the impact that COVID had on our country as a whole. So congratulations to all of you. While I now teach at a business school in America, I'm very much the son of a medical doctor and of a nurse. My father-in-law was also a medical doctor as well, and I was one of those individuals who would say grew up in hospitals, and in a very strange sort of way found them very much like a second home. I still recall very much spending Christmas Day and New Year's Day with the patients at the Lagos Island Maternity Hospital, and these were very much part of my life. I would like to share with you an incident that occurred to me once while I was on a British Airways flight. And it happened a few years ago, and in the flight I was approached by an air hostess who asked me if I was Mr. Demosage, and I said yes I was. And she said that she had noticed my name on the manifest, and that she was born in Nigeria, and she was delivered at the Lagos Island Maternity Hospital by a Dr. Demosage, and asked if I knew him. And I said, yes, I did know him, and that he was indeed my father. And she remarked that her mother had insisted on having the baby in Lagos and not in London as she could have had, because she so much enjoyed the facilities at the Lagos Island Maternity Hospital, and that she very much enjoyed being visited by my father. Now, I share this story with you just for you to have an indication and for us to remember that there was in fact a time at which we had outstanding medical facilities in a government hospital in Lagos that led an individual who was British and who had the opportunity to be delivered either in London or in Lagos, but they took a decision that they felt they could be well treated, well received in a hospital in Nigeria, and that the delivery went through safely, and I was then the beneficiary of that hostess, who I must say treated me very well throughout the flight. Now, clearly, from that time, things have not gone as we would have liked them to go. The medical area, both as far as doctors are concerned, and as far as nursing is concerned, was very much an area which attracted some of the very best and some of the very brightest in our society. We all remember that some of the cleverest people, especially those who are very good in subjects like chemistry and biology in secondary school, were those who aspired to be doctors. And this was a profession that was prestigious. It was very well paid, and it was a target for many people within our society. I, of course, failed to become a doctor myself, though, as you can probably imagine, being a doctor is very much the plan of every doctor. Being a doctor is very much what each doctor hopes for his son, but after several several sad attempts at various exams in biology and chemistry, I had no choice but to do something else. But since then, in fact, to the time, maybe out of a guilt complex, I'm not quite sure, I have made investments in the medical area, principally in areas like testing laboratories, in blood banks, in funding research in medicine, and as a result of that, it has given me some ideas and some thoughts as to where medicine is today, what the future of medicine should be, and it is some of these ideas and thoughts and remarks that I hope to share with you today. I will make my remarks short because I think that it's more important for us to have a discussion, but I certainly will share with you. The first comment I would like to make is that we need to look upon health, and we need to look upon health spending within the context of an overall political economy for a government. And that is that I think that all of us interested in health should also be interested in how government economy is run as a whole, because in a very real sense, the amount of resources, the amount of time, the amount of focus that can be given to health is really dependent on what the government, how much the government and the government earns in its totality, okay, and of that totality, what it chooses to spend that money on. So, for example, if we see that we're in a situation in which we're not earning as much as we should be earning from all our oil exports, if, for example, we're not diversifying our economy as effectively as we should be diversifying it, if, for example, we find ourselves in a situation in which the government is entering into commercial activities that could be done by the private sector, we should all understand that that has a direct impact on money that comes to health. Because in a very real sense, every naira, every dollar that could have been spent on health, but is being spent on something else, or is not being earned when it should be earned, is money that is lost to health. And so therefore, the first remark it's important that I make to you all is that it's of crucial importance that all of us who are interested in health should be interested in ensuring that the overall revenue base of our government and that the pattern of the expenditure of our government is one that allows a substantial portion of that money to go into health. In short, if the overall expenditure of the country drops for whatever reason, whether it has to do with oil theft, whether it has to do with insecurity, we should understand that that is something that directly affects us, and we have an interest in sorting that problem out. The previous speaker spoke about how the security challenges of our country have had an impact on expenditure in health. That is so correct, and I think that's one of the examples that I referred to. So that's the first comment I want to make. The interest that we must take in ensuring that we have a well-run economy, and in that respect, the interest that we have to take in ensuring that those people who contest for the highest offices in the country in 2023, that they do have plans and they do have ideas on how they want to boost our economy, because a more successful economy can only mean that what comes to health can only get better. That's the first point I want to make. The second point I do want to make is the issue of political will. That is that you often find yourself in a situation that, yes, a country is in fact earning large amounts of money, it should have the wherewithal to do better in the health sector, but there are those occasions in which there is not the political will to make health a priority. And strangely enough, that happens much more often than people realize. You only have to look, for example, at a country whose resources are rather meager, and I give the example of Cuba, but because it has accorded a certain priority to health and made tremendous advances in the area of health, even though it is earning much less than other countries who are much more than they do, but do not, in fact, go as far as they have gone in their health provisions. So I think that we all have to engage in that battle to let our political leaders know that their priority should be health and health and health, and that in fact we probably the only other issue that is important as health is education. And therefore, when leaders talk about they have 10 priorities or they have 15 priorities, once you have 15 priorities, often they don't have any priorities whatsoever. We have got to be part and parcel of the lobby that ensures that of the 4 or 5 priorities, and I don't believe the government can ever be successful at achieving or at realizing more than 4 or 5 priorities. We have got to make sure that health is one of those priorities. And therefore, the second point I want to make is that the issue of political will, our determination to give help to other places is of crucial importance. And it cannot only be when there's an Ebola outbreak, it cannot only be when there's a COVID outbreak, it's got to be a continuing thing that shows and that continues to confirm that health is number 1 on our radars. The third comment I'd like to make concerns the importance of what I'll just refer to as administrative competence in implementing health programs. We can talk about administrative competence. You can also describe it as outstanding management. And you'll find these days, I think all over the world, in all of the business schools, one of the key issues that is constantly being researched and debated is that how do we make sure that the amount of money that goes into how is it well spent? How are hospitals organized? How is administration of healthcare? How is it done? And how do we make sure that we get the best outcomes for that? And therefore, the third point I want to emphasize to you all is that management and administrative competence and efficiency is of crucial importance to whatever we seek to do. And I've put out in my mind that the gentleman from the budget ministry will of course endorse this, and they will feel heartened if they see that the allocations that are making to the health sector are well spent and that we have outcomes that are satisfactory, so that it's not a case of money being voted in, but in actual fact, a situation in which we constantly affect the lives of the public. The fourth comment I wanted to make concerns policies, and it concerns having well-crafted policies in place, well-designed, well-crafted policies. We often have a situation in which the policies that are put in place are sometimes not as well-designed as they should be. We sometimes don't go into as much detail as we should go. We sometimes do not see the impact that this can have to other sectors and how these other sectors have an impact on what we are doing. But one of the great things I think about the health sector is that we have so much knowledge about the policies that have failed and have succeeded in other countries and in other areas that we have got a lot to learn from, and therefore we find a position in which we can adopt the best practices. Many other countries in the world, including those countries in Africa, but have concrete experiences of specific policies and that we can learn from. So the area of policy analysis is of fundamental importance, and it is something that we should take seriously as we try to ensure successful healthcare in our country. Then I would like to highlight the food is saying prevention is always better than cure. One of the things I always learned from my own father was that public health care is crucial, sanitation is crucial, and therefore to the extent that we can prevent diseases from taking place, it is so much cheaper than having to cure a lot of ailments, and that good and clean water, good and clean sanitation systems go so far to create a very healthy public. I would like to make my last remarks by focusing on technology. We are in an age of technology now. We can see the huge impact that technology is having in the financial sector. Technology is having a huge impact on the education sector. It's having a huge impact in renewable energy. And of course, technology is having a huge impact in healthcare. You've probably all heard about telemedicine and what it has done in bringing healthcare to areas that before could not get access to healthcare, and that combination of telemedicine and our communication system can do so much in the area of healthcare. I think it's important that we leverage technology to the absolute maximum level to ensure that we do whatever is necessary. And therefore, the laying of fiber, the extension of mobile technology to all parts of the country is in the interest of the healthcare system because it is active in bringing healthcare to every nook and cranny of our country. I started, of course, by the story I told about what happened to me on the flight. I would like to end by bringing that story back again for us to reflect that thing that occurred many years ago. It is not impossible that we get back to that situation of the country, and that we should not be unduly discouraged by where we are right now. All long journeys, of course, begin with a single step. My own prediction, given the impact that COVID and Ebola has had on our society, I think it's giving everybody a wake-up call that we have to be serious and very focused about healthcare. And the existence of this conference, so well attended by so many of you, gives me the sense and gives me a sense of confidence that we're well on our way to a much more successful future in healthcare. I'd like to thank you all very much for listening to me. I hope that at 5 a.m. in the morning, which is where I am right now, I found it to be coherent, and I'd like to thank you all very much.
Please give it a round of applause. Thank you, thank you so much for making out the time. I sincerely apologize. I'm having to wake you up so early. Of course, it just emphasized the importance of this conversation we're having here. Of course, Chairman of Metis Capital Partners and the lecturer of Business Administration at the prestigious Harvard Business School, highlighting a couple of things which our keynote speaker had spoken about earlier. He did say prioritize, and prioritize. I'm not forgetting he's talking about, policies. We need to examine the policies. And you will agree with me that this conference is quite apt because we are in the process of, transiting to a new administration in a matter of months. So now is the time for each and every one of us, as much as we can, scrutinize what those leaders or those who want to be our leaders are telling us, especially where it's important as it concerns our health. So a round of applause again for Mr. Hakeem Ibedo Asanga for that presentation. And before we move to the next item of the agenda, quick question. What is the name of the lady sitting beside you? Her name. There we go. He knows her name. Do you know the name of the person sitting beside you? I asked all of you. So how about we ask them now and tell them yours? Incredible! I see passions, I see hearts being shared. That is what this is about. The 8th edition of the conference is we don't have these conversations, but we get to work, we learn from each other so we can have these conversations beyond what we have in the hall. So thank you so much for that. So now let's get straight into the next item on the agenda, which is our first panel discussion. And I'm sure you have gone through the list of our panelists today. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to all that good offers today. So let me quickly introduce the moderator, who will have the honors of introducing the panelists of the next session, which is the economy of quite incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please put your hands together for Dr. Olumide Okonola as he comes forward. And of course, Dr. Olumide, you will help us. We need to be fast. All of the speakers will have about 5 minutes each for their presentation. And of course, we can ask questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Olumide.
Thank you very much. Sorry, let me just break protocol. Professor Sample, are you leaving? Please, 1 minute. I'm sure I just got to do this. That's just allow Professor Sample to leave. There are very important people in this room. Please come, Professor Sample. We've got quite a number of professors. Please come. But just a round of applause for some of our teachers who are here. Professor Akobe, Professor Aladi, Professor Obina, Professor Yodini, they've done a lot, so please come up. But Professor Samuel, you just can't. For me, one of my professional highlights, for someone who's worked in health system for over 20 years, especially in Nigeria, signing into law and I'm sure many people here would have tried to talk about it, but maybe it will be acting before you leave, just to tell us what should we expect from that law. I know you're not on the agenda, my apologies being there, but I just want to do this. Thank you, sir. Please a round of applause for me.
It was only in Chatham House that I made presentation last 2 weeks. I stick to the time. So in order not to disturb this. Okay. For the first law establishing national health insurance March in the year 1989. And it was discovered that there was a lacuna. That law will not be able to take Nigeria to even closer to universal health coverage because the law was not made mandatory. And anywhere in the world, there's health insurance, it ought to be made mandatory so that everybody, whether you have the capacity or you don't have, you get into it. So since that time, administration, successive administrations have tried to see that that law was amended to be made mandatory. For 23 years, we were not able to get that done until May 19th this year. When the National Health Insurance Scheme Act was approved, and the National Health Insurance Authority law was enacted. The implication of that law, the new law, is that health insurance will now be mandatory for every Nigerian and every legal resident in Nigeria. The law has also made a provision for the coverage of the vulnerable segment of the population. Health insurance normally is not a free health care. There must be somebody has to pay. And if somebody has to pay, a vulnerable who is not employed, and therefore he has no means of payment by virtue of his employment status, or he doesn't have money to pay for it, somebody has to pay for him. That is why in this new law there is this very vulnerable group funds provision, whereby innovative financing has rightly discussed by the advisor to DG, the budget has been very critical. What are the various innovative financing mechanisms we have to ensure that vulnerable fund is fully funded for the benefit of the 83 million population that are currently not being able to get healthcare as espoused in this Lancet Commission reports. So, Health Watch and any other advocacy group that will want to ensure that this item is put in the high-level agenda of the government, that funds should come from innovative financing mechanism, one common as called, like SSD tax, sugar, sweetener, beverage tax, and any other innovation that can bring money into the healthcare and medical system will be very, very critical for that aspect. So I think.
In fact, you've done exactly what I wanted you to do. What Professor Sambo has done is no country in the world has been able to achieve universal health coverage without talking finance. So he has set the question for the next round. Nigeria wants to cover 83 million poor and vulnerable. Where will the money come from? Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Please join in. You need to take a big picture.
So, no. So, I'm going to set the stage for.
Just 1 minute. Really, you need to get a full picture of both of them. So just wait, please. Just a quick one. All right, thank you. Once again, a round of applause for the NHIS Director General, Professor Mohammed Nasser Sambo. Thank you again for all that you do. Universal health coverage definitely on its way in Nigeria.
So perhaps, thank you. So perhaps one of the first things, that I said a few minutes ago is that with half public financing, you can achieve universal health. You know, the interesting thing, there's also another fact. Most countries that also achieved universal health coverage achieved it when the economy was bad. UK set up its NHS when it was at war. And most of that, several countries in Southeast Asia, it was when they were undergoing severe economic crisis. So I'm just going to lay out a few things. This next slide. We're talking about the economy. So how can you discuss the economy without some charts and graphs? Okay. So first, this is a town hall discussion. First point to make. First point to make. Look at this slide. You don't need to be an economist or anyone technical to understand this. But I bring the attention to our population growth rate. 2.6%. But note one thing, and that's the light blue line. 2015 up till about 2021, our population was growing. In fact, you note two red spots, that was the time the economy went into recession. Now that good news, improving economy, as you can see from 2021 and in fact projected into 2024, we have an economy growth at about 3.2 now. But even with the population growth rate of 2.6, how much improvement would that be? This is the first slide and the first message that we first need to begin to internalize. For livelihoods to increase, the economy needs to be able to do much, much, much better. And with what COVID has done to this economy, for livelihoods to get to where it needs to be, you have to have what I would call an extraordinary economy. That's the first thing. Second slide. And that's the point I was making. Because as you can see from this chart, in terms of livelihoods for people, this is where we are now. It's almost equivalent to what when we were. Yes. You can see that. That's where we are now. And it's going where? Maybe up or down. You don't need to be an economist to say it's going down. It's like you're dealing from other topics. Let's go very quickly. We can't discuss the economy without you knowing the structure of how the revenue flows are accounted for and how the country gets. We'll do this in 30 seconds. Please permit me. So, we make money from oil. All right? So, this is the net after NNPC, Shell, all the joint ventures, after taking them off for production. This is what is left. It's very important. We'll come to it. Short, losses, net oil revenues. Then you also have net non-oil revenues, net non-VAT oil revenues. That's the second. Then you have VAT, that's the third. So you can say A, net oil, B, net non-oil, non-VAT, C, net VAT. Are we okay? All right. Let's take it very quickly at the net oil revenue. Okay? That's what it was about 2020, 2021, 2022 April. Can you see? This is just putting it into what Professor Idea was saying about mining, oil production, increasing oil tax. But more significantly, I need you to look at something because it's important. The section in red, subsidy. You can see where it was in 2020 and where it is now. Why is this important? Because if you are able to reduce the subsidy, then you can cover and have the fiscal space to fund those things that matter to people. Education, healthcare. That's why we have to understand this. So let's move on quickly. But the good thing is, and I think kudos must go to government to say that we're now having increased revenues from non-oil revenues, which I think is a good thing. But at least in the immediate, if we're able to reduce the subsidy, then there will be expanded fiscal space to fund things that matter, especially for so, the implication, or what I call the consequences, of having reduced fiscal space, reduced revenues, is what we're seeing here. It means that, every month, states come to Abuja, we do something called a fact meeting. It means they are very good money. In fact, the changes are in red. So most states are going to get a major hit. Why is this important for us in the room? Because those services that we're talking about, healthcare, education, at the level of the states. In fact, Professor Idea went on to emphasize that what? Please know, it's very important message to give them. Local governments now have PhDs belong to local government, the money is going directly to them, who will hold them accountable. So, the number of messages here. One, in the next, as we move on, states will get reduced allocation. Two, what whatever the governments get, they're not even sure they will spend on health, which is in their way. I'm only setting the stage for what we'll be discussing in the panel, but also for you to begin to understand how the political economy, very important, how wide and now we need to begin to unpack some of these things. And as I go and invite my panelists, let's also mention, Mr. Sambo talked about 83 million poor and vulnerable Nigerians. That number is increasing. Why? Because perhaps the highest inflation on the continent today is about 20%. High inflation, it means you have more people falling below the social protection lines and become poor. So these are things that we explore. So, and without the revenues that we spoke about, without that public financing, how do you ensure that more than 95 million Nigerians are able to survive? We'll explore this. And just to mention that despite that increased number of poor people, this has been using the figures from last year of 2021 at the height of COVID, states that are taxed with financing and delivering healthcare, just as an example, on the average allocated 9% to health across board, and this is just a rough description of how states or what states allocated to health, which translated to about $8 per capita. And in fact, we can even argue that not all of them implement those budgets fully. Some of them is about 50%. So this is what it is. You know, the federal government allocates about $78, states about $8. If you assume that the state is all is fully implements, then at the end of the day, we're talking about but good news. And I'm going to call Dr. Sarah Alabi, my first panelist. The round of applause for her. She's a professor of economics and former deputy governor of the Central Bank. No, please go back to that slide. Please go back to that slide before this. Yeah. So there she is. She led the process that led to the successor document to the ERG. The National Development Plan, which I hope you can go to share some insights. But what I like about it is this. This is from Project Office. It's not every time that you see this. And this is important. This is a political economy of health. I need you to read this. This is the budget call circular released and sent to all MPAs 3 months ago. I've never seen this thing. Allocating what they think is required for health, for education, or for social protection, which is a response to what I've said earlier. So at this point, I left out the presentation. Okay, so if you can have Dr. Alabi's presentation so that she can then do a deep dive into what the thinking of government is with respect to new NDP and how it speaks to health in particular. Please a round of applause for that.
Thank you, and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'll be sharing just a few slides and talking about the importance that was or that is according to human capital development. And like the has said, it's something that was prioritized in the development. So let me correct you, I'm not a professor. There's a wide difference between the two. I didn't see it. So what we did in the NDP, and how we find it, is one of the four strategic objectives that we have is to enable vibrant and dedicated, healthy populations. One of the four pillars of the NDP. And so healthcare is very, very important, and will forever be very important. You have to be healthy. And I always say, even in the committee, that it should be, instead of saying to enable vibrant, educated, healthy, I think healthy should be, because you cannot healthy, you probably go to the education. But that was very, very important. And although in Nigeria we do have issues in the healthcare system, and a few of them have been discussed, I will go into that very much. There has been, with a sort of a widening of the poverty strap, and when people are poor, then health spending just don't last for their stay. What we've done is that about 60% of people's income are at low level. By the time you go through the shares that health comes. I don't know whether it's okay. So the methods. The health and economy, the nexus is more than ever before. During the pandemic, we saw the relationship between health and again, we just health. During the pandemic, people could not work, we were not productive, and then we had to stop doing activities just to make sure that yes, I don't know what the virus. But now we understand the importance, and we have always done anything for the pandemic. And in the words of temples, when health is at risk, everything else is at risk. That's what the pandemic people don't hold out to see. And now the public health for us remains a fundamental building of national health. We know that there is no way we can achieve sustainable development, inclusive development, if we don't have health. Health is very important, and that is okay. So the challenges we have in the healthcare sector, we have inadequate financing, suboptimal personnel to patient control, we have one doctor, several thousands of patients, and then we don't have the doctor of patients. We also don't have the medical supplies. If you manage to get to the hospital, it's one thing, and then you have no medicine. So you have a lot of patients. Then we have low health insurance penetration. That and inadequate infrastructure and inadequate equipment. So in the MDP, what do we do? MDP approaches its sustainability and ultimate success from human capital standpoint. One of the strategic objectives, I said, in the MDP 2021 to 2025 is to implement. That was central to this review, and that's why even in the budget this year, we find that priority should be given to health, should be given to education, nutrition, and food also goes together with health. Because when you don't have good nutrition, when you don't have good health, becomes a challenge. So fostering, focusing on rising critical mass of healthy Nigerians is the basis for us. We realize that right from the beginning. We now account health as a basic human right and the basis of citizen social economic productivity. Now, the why and how of health privatization. Under the effective healthcare, Nigerian households are better prepared to respond to shocks, and what the government committed to it was 1.65 trillion over the 5 years. 1.65 trillion. That's where all the total government is together. But we are also hoping that 85% of what is needed in every sector will be provided by the private sector. So we do have targets and KPIs. We intend to achieve this by the targets that we have set. We are thinking, for instance, or we believe, for instance, that over the period we will be able to increase life expectancy from 54 to about 56. Infant mortality will be reduced, and maternal mortality will also be reduced. There are so many KPIs in the health sector. So navigating key policy and structural issues require attention, and we need to do a lot to make sure that. I'll just go to the conclusions and recommendations. Universal healthcare is a basic economic goal. The current administration understands that, and that's why the NDP has a lot of things to do on to achieve human health. Incentivize. One of the things we intend to do is to incentivize the private sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is so we heard from government. In fact, we heard from 2 government representatives, the budget office, and what's also in government commitment. The NDP is government commitment, and if you understand the budgeting cycle, the EdTech, the NDP, budget cost circular. So somewhat, the government is doing what it needs to do by having those commitment documents. But let's extrapolate a bit on how large the problem is. And in that case, I would like to call Professor Obina, Professor of Health Economics. We showed some numbers in terms of the poverty levels in the country. So I think that was slide 2. Okay. So he will share with us the consequences, especially of not providing or not making available that public finance.
Thank you very much. So I think what I'm talking on next 5 minutes resonates a lot with what was and what we heard from Okay. It looks like mine.
And Professor Obina would appreciate you to go up on the stage, so that way everyone can see you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So, yeah, so I think the last two speakers, from Saturday, about the speakers and what they did regulates a lot of what. So the key point here is, Dr. already said this network between health and economic development. It's quite clear that the capital investment in Africa is very good. That's usually finance. Other countries they see health as a consumer. I'm happy today they were talking about health, seeing health as a contributor to economic development. So we're happy with that. But I think the health actors we should also focus on driving this information, the message that health is an investment. Most times we don't make that point very clear. Investment. We talk about what is passionate about towards underlying to sales and all that. We need to advance advocacy so that health is an investment and it is properly between health and development. And then the rest also goes. And then health is wealth. I think I heard it from outside, you said it. Health is wealth. So I think one powerful thing we need to do going forward is simply because of action, because of action. If you don't do this in health, what happens? And if you do something in health, what happens? So we need to provide such estimates and to show clearly that we're going to lose when we're not investing in health. And the loss usually in terms of development, in terms of GDP growth. This economic gains are long term. So I mean, we need a study or something for the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. Just looking at diarrheal diseases and lower respiratory tract infections amongst children because of action and because of inaction. Scaling them out to certain level. I think it shows clearly that if you don't do anything, you are losing a lot of money. You will not be careful. The economic gains usually from preventive child mortality results about 8-fold return on investment. I mean, so this is an important message I just want to bring up from this slide. But if you are not investing, I think there will be a problem. So this just shows the calculations of people who are invested where how the return to investment in terms of percentage of GDP growth when we invest in health. So it's an investment. But so we see many states for more help, more money for health. We need to bring more money to health. The issue about the low level of spending at today. So we actually need to invest more public funds. We all know about most of health financing comes from private pockets. The government is very low. So we need to improve the efficiency, even for what we said about everything from not getting more money and all that. This publication, put by Rockefeller Foundation, it shows how many countries have to achieve good health at low cost. So this is called good health at low cost. So I think it's something we can do.
look at. You don't need to have monitoring in the room to be able to achieve it. Actually do a lot of the work we have. Get efficiency from budget office, the help of and then because of that competition, these including 61 assembly was, let me say that good health at low cost should be the driver. And then finally, as I conclude, from the Lancet Commission, as we think about the future of the health system, I think if you don't get the governance right, this is just what it's like. If you don't get the governance right, nothing will work. So governance and prioritization of health and the first stage. So I'll end here. Although corruption has undermined our health system, we can still harness existing institutions for the benefit of population. And the actions to improve the health of Nigerians must operate with an complex system, and they should also embrace the idea that we heard from outside of the day and health in all policies, and health in so I think I'll okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Obi. So we've been flying at about 5,000 feet. Let's narrow down the bits. And one of the strongest or most powerful ways to show the relationship of how health can actually be an investment in economic growth is seen in the examples of some countries like South Korea, Indonesia, and countries called the East Asian Tigers. They were able to fast track their demographic transition to the extent that they were able to leave a dividend from a favorable demographic age structure. Making a lot of English. Breaking it down. They came from a situation of high mortality and high fertility, depending on where you stand. They brought down high mortality to low mortality, and women started having fewer kids. To the extent that you had a bulge in the population structure who went on to productive jobs, and that really contributed to almost a third of the economic growth of this country. A lot of academics have said maybe Nigeria has the potential of reaping a dividend like this. But if you got a total fertility rate that's been a straight line for almost 20 years, a TFR of 5.3 in the last 10 years, the population growth that has remained almost great apace to the economy, apart from over 5 years, was great ahead of the economy. So let's look inward now into the health sector in terms of what we're doing with respect to activity. That is, if we do not as a nation come together as one voice, if we have that, that might be very good change. Dr. Habibu Sadauki, President of SONA, I think Dr. Sadauki has the presentation as well. Maybe you want to double down on what are the efforts around addressing fertility.
Started in the morning, afternoon. Good afternoon, distinguished speakers of this manner.
Thank you, Dr. Okonola, for starting the discussion. Let me just begin by this slide, which I think is very familiar to everybody. I'm sure maybe more. But let me just say one or two things about it. One is our loan loss rate in terms of what you just mentioned, 3.2. Our academic growth is not as big as that. This is the annual population growth rate. It is expected that by 2050, we reach begin in this country. Our fertility rate, sorry, there's a new figure now. It's 12.6 from the last week's study. Like you said, it has been hovering between something like 6, 7, 8. But let me say this: there's a growth disparity across the country. In some states in Nigeria, fertility rates are as high as 8. And I think there are some places that it is about 4. So if we put the mixture together, that's what we get 4.5 from. And the maternal mortality rate is still one of the highest, 512 per 100 life. For every 1,000 life deliveries that you have, 512 will die, which is quite high, and it's very, very important for our economy. The reference birth rate is 75%. Why this is important is that it means you're starting births at deliveries at an early age. It will mean you do it many times, old age and beauty properly. The consequences are enormous. That is when you have all the communication. Only 23% of our mothers or our women of reproductive age group are using family planning methods. Any method at all, due to the weather method. This is very, very low to control our population. Now, this is another slide. As everybody is saying, health is important for economic development. You can't walk in health. And the way I think one of the speakers mentioned that how much you put in health is how much health you have. And how much health you have is how much economic development you're going to have. And saying that I've shown that nations can improve their economy by putting a lot of money in health. Infant mortality is linked to development too. But the more children die, the less you have those that will grow into the contribute to the economy, the workforce. So this is very, very important too. Now, this is the heartbeat of this discussion, family planning. Contraception prevent unintended pregnancies and unwanted pregnancies. And by that, it will reduce maternal mortality. Because if you are not pregnant, the question of mortality is not even arise. You can die from other causes, but not from pregnancy. Family planning empowers women. It gives them economic power to take decisions and take control of their lives. And that is what we need to avoid that working workforce across the nation. You have to control the number of deliveries you have and how many times you do it and how frequently you do it. Family planning empowers the whole family, and by so doing, it empowers economic development across the country. There are a lot of economic benefits in providing contraception to women who need it. Say that if you invest in family planning $1, you make a saving of $3 in terms of complications that will arise from childbirth. But what has happened in this country? This is the trend over the years in our family planning. It started growing from about 2011 and then went to the peak in 2018. But since then, for the last 3 years, we've seen a drop. In fact, last year,
This year, 2022, there is no budget line for family planning. And this is very, very important. Because if we're talking about economic development, and then you are not putting money for family planning, then we have a serious problem. So long as we're not going to structure our population, our economic growth is going to be stunted. Because you cannot provide, if your growth rate, your population is expanding this way, and your economic growth is this low, you cannot really achieve your target of providing health for everybody. And you cannot even develop economically. If you don't develop economically, you cannot have good health systems and other systems of us. This is short. This is the last. That was the last slide I talked about. Yeah. Second, sorry. I'll talk about it.
That's fine. We'll come back to that particular slide. Or is it here?
But okay, we'll talk about it.
Thank you very much. I know we're all getting our questions ready. Dr. Olamide, remember? Sure. Of course. And even our online audience, please, you can start sending your questions in when it's time. Dr. Olamide will handle that.
All right. So, in fact, Dr. Sadafi, thank you very much for that. I'm happy for us. I really love you. We see countries that have been able to make good use of that youth balls by bringing down infant mortality, bringing down fertility. You cannot bring down increase education for your girls, the use of the expand primary healthcare services, which also have voluntary family planning services. Might not have it itself in Nigeria. So again, as we continue to explore the interactions and accountability within institutions that are meant to be responsible for implementing all of this, to the objectives of this summit, that we begin to say who is responsible for what. The National Health Act roles and responsibilities. The 1979 Constitution, if I might just remind you, was somewhat explicit in terms of where health was on the concurrent list. So you have the exclusive list, the concurrent, and if it's on neither, then it's a single. Show of hands, health on the exclusive list. On the concurrent list. Concurrent? Wrong. I used to be is on the list. In fact, a few weeks ago, you can that's the representative was saying, why are you even bringing primary health care? You want to help into this. In Italy, where health is, which is on the residual list. A round of applause for the regulation.
Very good afternoon to everybody, and every day you post me in malaria. I'm a professor Sitel, I'm a health. So I hope I will be able to do justice to research. Okay, so my emphasis should be on prioritization. In the course of these conversations this morning, there have been a lot of emphasis on we need to prioritize health. We need to prioritize health. So how are we going to do that? Next slide. Oh, okay. Okay, so we've discussed this several times. I tried to project and share information around 5 countries. We have the United Kingdom, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, US. You will see the trend in terms of the proportion of health expenditure to their GDP. You can see that the trend for Nigeria is actually the lowest, ranging from 3.2% as at 2000 to just about 3.03% by year 2019. You compare that to countries like US that has as high as 60% as of 2019. I want to talk of 80%. Look at us, their GDP that runs into hundreds and trillions of dollars. We're talking about trillions of naira, so we're really way behind where we should be. And of course, that are reflected in the health indicators. I just chose one of them, which is maternal mortality. You can see those countries that are less than 100 per 100,000. Ours is red, which is even worse than Ghana, worse than Kenya. And of course, a reflection of how much you are putting on God. Now, there are several ways to prioritize and allocate and put money on heart. If you want to push government to put money on heart, there are 3 core things you may want to consider. First is negotiation and political compromise. And I think we've done that quite well. That was how this education fund was given birth to. The other is incremental budgeting. I'm sure our budget office is quite informed of this. It's okay, last year the budget was 100 billion. Can we add 10% to rates? And the 10% to rate and it is increased. That's on that way that I was allocated. The next is according to health needs. I think so I'm going to do a little bit on because that is where those of us who are staying in this hall have a role to play to help government to make the right decision. The next is a combination of the third. Okay, so when you want to develop based on this, there are 3 things among others you want to consider. The first is the population size. And I think this is very important because we are growing every day. The last speaker before I spoke on the fact that we are increasing the number every day. And so we want to make a population comparison kind of number. What is the size of the country? What is the size of different zones in the country? What are the population size? Then the next is the age and sex profile of the population. Of course, they are aware that young people are more prone to diseases than older people. And both the elderly and women are also prone because of more eating than the other. So as we advocate and push for this, data on age and sex profile of our population will be really important. Then the third one is the degree and related absolute poverty. They are quite important people. Poverty is very high. Definitely, people will struggle to pay for that. So, in advocating this for that, looking at actually poverty and the degree of the degree is important in making that decision. It's also important that we look at different costs. The cost of providing services in my area may be different from the cost of providing services in other areas. For example, the whole of communities in some part of this country today, they are all flooded. And so providing healthcare in those places would be very, very challenging. Of course, the places are hard to reach. The other is issue around funding sources. So the point I want to make here, I don't know, but it will be important that can we get to a point that donor agencies will start thinking of not just running solo projects, but actually putting their budgets in government finances to see that we have envelope that basically most of those donor funds are more like pilot projects. That's okay, let's just try and see what can be scaled up. How will the government to agree, okay, to address master mortality in Nigeria, we need $10 billion. So the $10 billion, else can do this amount, the government can do this amount, to put it to a pool, and together we can address it. Can we start looking in that direction? The issue there in order to put look at is issue specific to resource allocation. To this, you must consider. If you want to resource allocate of needs, it's very challenging. We need accurate data. Prof, there are no data in this country. It's difficult to get data. And we'll have a role to play. We have to say how do we make data available? Not just data available, but quality of the data and the timeliness of the data. Then, of course, we also see that how do we ensure that we allocate resources by needs does not de-incentivize people from doing the right thing. We're already experiencing that. As people today will say, okay, there is a strain on this money today that appears to be getting more resources than others. So what do those governments do? How do we ensure that governors like Kaduna and others are doing what you guys can be encouraged to do more without the incentivizing them? Will be important. The last point is just this, and my conclusion is that we are not doing well in the area of allocating resources for arts. More can be done. If we invest in arts, as we have heard from other speakers, we invest in the productivity and economic growth of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, very food for thought. So I'm going to call on my last panelists. And if you heard what Professor Idris from the Budget Office said, Nigeria needs to explore new ways of delivering services through public-private partnerships. Dr. Alade mentioned the role the private sector has to play in delivering the national development plan. If I'm correct, I even think one of your co-chairs came from the private sector in delivering the NDP. So I believe that the current administration actually has undoubtedly recognized the role of the private sector. Just looking back, if anything that we got from COVID or learned from COVID was the way the private sector rose up to the occasion and helped to put in place services before government funds started flowing. So to dig more into that, I'd like to call on Dr. Ola Brown to round up us over. And we have to set aside as well. Okay, good. All right. If not, you probably take your seats on the panel. That's fine.
So I just decided just to make it brief to speak without slides. And I think I'm the only private sector person on the panel. So I feel like I have a big burden to be able to talk about the role of private sector investment in healthcare and how that can really be transformative. And I'm actually going to talk about why I believe that investment in healthcare can actually solve not just Nigeria's healthcare problems, but actually all of Nigeria's problems. I've been an entrepreneur since I started in professional life. So after I finished my housing year, I immediately started a business, and I've been in business ever since. I started an operational emergency services business, which serves over 40 countries. By using ground ambulance, air ambulance, and other urgent care services. 5 years into that, I became also a professional investor, so I've invested in 30 companies and also PPPs in 10 out of 36 Nigerian states. Our portfolio right now is about $500 million, and I'm sure that if I start mentioning our portfolio companies, you'll know quite a few of them because they're some of the most prolific startups both in fintech and in health tech that Nigeria has. We invest across Africa as well, so we have portfolio companies in Cameroon, we have a PPP where we've just signed an MOU. I'm super excited in a Central African country. So I have experience across running my own business, investing in tech, and investing in infrastructure. And I'm a medical doctor by profession, but left that quite some time ago. My master's is in finance and economics. And I'm starting my PhD in economics, which I'm really excited about. So why do I think that investment in healthcare can solve all of Nigeria's problems? There's a lot of young people in the room right now, and I would say probably 50% of the young people in the room right now are thinking about how they can escape from Nigeria. Some are writing SMLE, some are writing PLA, some are applying for H1 visa, some are applying for tech superstars visa. In fact, there are all sorts of visas now. When I look on social media, most engaged threads on Instagram and Twitter are how to get out of the country. There's one in Portugal. Even Finland that is very cold. I saw a thread 3 days ago about how to get into Finland. So Nigerians are now so desperate to leave the country that they want to go and live in a place where the sun doesn't shine for 3 months of the year. So I really think that we need to look at healthcare in a really holistic way about not just how healthcare, Nigeria, investment in healthcare can solve the healthcare problems, but how it can solve some of our biggest problems. When I speak to people about how they want to Japan, why they want to Japan or leave the country in Yoruba, it's called the Japan movement. They mention probably 4 main things. Number 1 is actually healthcare. If they get sick, or their children get sick, or they have a child with special needs perhaps, they don't feel that Nigeria has the facilities to be able to look after their families, and they're scared. So you see a newly married family wanting to just even engage in like going into a long distance relationship where they don't even see their spouse for like 5 years for the sake of visa. And one of the reasons why is because of healthcare. Another big reason why is because of security. And in 2020, when we were doing a lot of infrastructure projects, labs, hospitals, etc., I had to drive. Because there were no flights, if you remember, I had to drive from Lagos to Zamfara states. And in southern Kaduna, we almost got kidnapped. And this is the story of hundreds of Nigerians that can no longer actually travel by road. So security is probably the second biggest reason that I hear that people want to leave the country. There's also a lack of opportunity. Nigeria has a 36% unemployment rate, unemployment and underemployment rate according to certain statistics. And people want to leave to find opportunity, they want to leave to find jobs. And then the fourth one, and probably the most complex one, which every single speaker has spoken to, is macroeconomic instability. You want to buy an iPhone, it now costs almost 2 years' salary because of devaluation. People can't say there's high inflation, so people want to go to a place where at least they can feel that the money in their account is stable. Now, why do I think that healthcare is relevant to all of those problems? And why do I think that healthcare provides a solution to all of Nigeria's problems? Because when we think about healthcare, healthcare is, like I said, the #1 reason why people want to leave the country. And healthcare was actually, the NHS, for instance, was created not by a doctor, but actually by an economist. And it was actually to solve routine economic problems, to get people to be productive. So if we invest in healthcare, we're not just making an investment in healthcare, but we're making an investment in the economy. Speaking about the NHS in relation to security and unemployment, the largest employer of skilled labor in the entire world is UK NHS. If you look at every single state in America and look for the highest employers, you see them in either healthcare or education. So the reason why I link healthcare to both security and employment is because if you have a job, you don't go and join Boko Haram. It's nothing to do with Islam. You don't see Boko Haram in Dubai, you don't see them in Abu Dhabi, you don't see them in Kuwait. These people are idle. So if you're able to invest in a sector that has massive job creation potential, then you're able to solve a security problem and an unemployment problem. Finally, the macroeconomic issue. If you invest in healthcare, things like manufacturing, for instance, are really important to the world. I think that the US and the UK and a lot of developed countries during COVID realized that what we thought was a global supply chain was actually a Chinese supply chain. And actually, they were very, very reliant on a single country for not just the drugs, but the precursors to the drugs, APIs. So these countries are actually really desperately looking for solutions for their manufacturing, problems, to diversify the sources of raw materials and to improve their medicine security. How does this help Nigeria? Because we lack forex. If we import, then we can, if we export, sorry, 2 minutes. If we export, then we're able to generate more foreign currency and stabilize the economy. If we're able to do more PPPs, then that improves investment in the economy. And these are things that stabilize our country. And I want to point out that Nigeria, people think that Nigeria is a very serious country, but it actually is a very serious country. When it comes to pension reforms, when it came to producing our own cement, when it came to making petrol cheap, when it came to telecommunications reform, when it came to banking reform, when Nigeria actually focused on reforming the sector became reforms.
And I think that's a good point to give.
So I'm rounding up, and my final comment is that self-care has not been seen as essential to the economy. If we reposition healthcare at the level of the presidency, at the level of the House of Reps, at the level of the Senate, as not just solving a healthcare problem, like I said at the beginning, but as a solution to all Nigeria's problems, in quotes, then I think we can get the government to focus on it like they did with all the other sectors.
Thank you very much. We will still have to run out of time, so please don't make all your points now. There's someone who's been on the call. She connected from Washington, D.C., from the President's office, Ms. Yosola Kini. Please, can you bring her on if she's there? Because she's about to go into another meeting now, and I think it might just be good if we can bring her online right away. Please let's know if she's ready. She's online. Mrs. Akili, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
We can't see you though.
Because I can't start my video, it says that the host needs to let me start my video.
Okay, so if you can give her the rights to put on her video. For those who haven't met Mrs. Akili, she's leading the government's work on human capital development across MDAs. If you recall, the 2018 World Bank annual meetings in Bali, the World Bank released for the first time what's called the Human Capital Index. Nigeria did for we had California business points more or less, saying that considering the amount or the quantity and quality of education available to a child born today, healthcare born today, and the capabilities and productivity that person would have acquired by age 18, how much would that person contribute to the economy? So countries like Hong Kong were in the high 80s, for Nigeria was at 34. And that was what led the president to set up a co-working group on human capital development to see how the government can put a concerted effort to double down on human capital building interventions. And Ms. Yosola Akili is leading that effort in the office of His Excellency the Vice President. Ms. Akili, do you want to share with us the work of the co-working group on human capital development and how you've been able to gather the necessary political support to take this work forward?
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunde, and good morning, my dear colleagues and participants. I'm really so excited. I'm so happy to be on this call this morning. And it's a pity I joined late, but at the point that I joined, I'm really enjoying myself. And I think this is a debate that we need to engage in regularly, recognizing that it's really important for us to move forward in terms of human capital, health being a specific one that is very, very important. And it's one of the thematic areas that I'm going to talk about later. And thank you for that introduction, Dr. Lumbia, and of course, taking us real way back to and the realization by the Nigerian government that we're not doing so well in terms of human capital development. And I'm using my words seriously because government was not in denial that we are really doing very well, or we are up there in terms of where we need to be productivity-wise. So that's why the National Economic Council, which the Vice President chairs, started and inaugurated the core working group on human capital development. And this national ATD program, which was designed in recognition that human capital, of course, development plays a critical role in addressing poverty while ensuring aspirational and sustainable economic growth. The program is proposed to increase investment in the Nigerian people and improve Nigeria's human capital development indices. The National Economic Council has put on this process, this program, so as to be able to accelerate human capital development. And this is being driven by a steering committee. The steering committee is headed by the Vice President himself, and it has governors from state geopolitical zones on that steering committee. Also in that steering committee, because it's really very important for everybody to be on the same page as the National Assembly, both the House of Rep and then the Senate, all on the steering committee. We also have a core working group which I coordinate, and the core working group is not just government, it's not just the state. We have development partners, we have the non-governmental organizations, all part of the CWG that is working on this process. And it's been a 3-year journey working with all the states of Nigeria to ensure that we are able to accelerate human capital development. And for each of them, to make it very easy, the program was designed and we had 2 phases. The first phase essentially was for us to actually have that vision, that national vision that would help us move forward. And it would be nice if we can actually show that vision in the screen. I think I have sent some presentation, even though I'm not following you. Let's just go to that slide. That I think is the third slide. It's the vision slide. That's the most important slide. And that was what we achieved in that first phase, to actually have a national vision that will drive all this process of accelerating human capital development. It's the next move on to that, because that is really important. Yes, just stay on this slide, because that is a slide that I want all our colleagues and participants on this call and physically present to actually really take note of. And so what the second phase, of course, is that phase of recognizing that transformation must necessarily happen at the state level. And so we are working, that's where we are working with the states to make sure that everybody is on the same page and are aligning with this national vision of healthy, educated, and productive Nigerians for a globally competitive nation by the year 2030. And on purpose 2030, because Nigeria as Nigerians want to apply other programs all over the world, and that's why we are. So let's look at this.
So, Ms. Sakiri, do you want to close out with this particular slide, because we then come back to my panel? If it's okay, if you're still available, then we'll come back to you. But if you want to close with this panel now, with this slide.
No, like I said to you, like I said to all my colleagues, this is the most important slide. This is what we need to do. This is how we're trying to do. And I had somebody talk about prioritizing and what is important for us to actually take note of this value of priority. I mean, we know that we're now under this very tight resource use all over the world, not just Nigeria. And so in terms of priority, we need to actually really take note of it. And when we're prioritizing, when the budget section is up, we need to exactly know what we need to move the productivity level of Nigeria forward. And this is what we have with all the different partners working together to make sure that we move forward. And of course, in terms of health, look at it. These are the things that we think if we even just get that right, Nigeria will move forward. So it is the strong political engagement that is important, but it's also important that we as citizens also join forces together with government to actually monitor and track and see where we are. For me, it must be the people's streets now that we must focus on, not just on investments and things and all. Let's see how we improve and work on the people, and investments in the people is something, even though it's in the future, but it's something that works for all of us in Nigeria and of course all over the world.
Thank you very much, Ms. Akibi. Thank you. Please a round of applause for Ms. Akibi. Thank you. So this is going to be a very short panel because I learned that some people in the room have some of our panel discussions. So we're going to be very quick. And I'm going to start with Dr. Lam. Look, you said a lot. Yes. Or even a minute or two. I think we need to put that on all its own.
Hello?
Okay, good. Dr. Brown, you know, you couldn't have had it said more possibly. The way it was, I really, you know, Dr. Aladdin said it. 2 things. Let's just give it simple. 2, 3 things that you think. We talk about engaging the environment for the private sector. What are those things that you probably see all that in countries like you have alluded to where the countries probably make investments that are not here, that will make, in fact, you expand your portfolio in the sector in Nigeria today?
So I think that number one would be around having some sort of trade desk within the Ministry of Health, which is happening specifically for healthcare investors. I think healthcare investment is quite specialist, and I think even a policy framework on PPPs for healthcare would be really interesting, because right now it still falls under the general PPP framework. So I think having a specialist PPP framework for healthcare that allows investors to put in money or put in investment, knowing, okay, this is a specialist PPP framework for health, would really be helpful. I think number two, for technology investments, I think investment in last mile infrastructure is essential. I think that there's a lot of technology solutions that scale has been hampered both by the cost of data and the availability of the internet. So I think if there could be investment overall, or even maybe the environment enabling for people like Google and Facebook that want to provide this infrastructure for free. I think that that would be a game changer in terms of last mile connectivity and really enabling these solutions to scale. Number three, I'll go back to your original points that you made during your lecture, which is public sector investment in healthcare. There's no way that we can escape it, and whether by taxation, whether by ring-fenced funds, you can't expect sort of 90 million people who live below the poverty line right now to be able to afford health insurance. My health insurance is 500,000 naira, and it doesn't even give me everything that I need. But that's more than the income of almost 50% of Nigerians. So we can't escape it, we can't budget. There needs to be some sort of public sector investment for people that can't afford it, and that brings scale for investors.
Thank you very much. You know, especially, let's switch to that last point. If, for instance, you get that more money or additional money into the sector, but you tie it to a particular output, say, Professor Adele said, yes, we're giving the health sector money through BHGF, money through BGF in the new NHIA Act, and you're covering 90 million Nigerians, guaranteed care, there would be a multitude of private investments coming into the sector. Do not let it be ourselves. Without that public financing available, private sector investment will be at best honest. So I move to Dr. Olorori Ezire of the World Bank. 1, 2, 3 reflections. States, in fact, Madam Yosola also made a point. States are where the action is. They're the ones that deliver the services. But yet, they prioritize airports and a few other things. How do we make states and local governments accountable for the services that primarily
thank you very much. The first thing is, which is really very important, is the reality that here we are today, more responsibilities are in the states and the government because of the autonomy of the government. What that means is that there's a possibility that if not is done urgently, primary healthcare might be de-emphasized because most local governments currently have no so it's very important that we support local governments and by state and states to prioritize funds. To do that, our mission is that everything needs to happen. We all need to be involved to ensure that we are part of the engagement and do the necessary compromise at the local government level and at the state level to ensure that health is acted as a priority. And secondly, we need to provide data and evidence to help them to make the right decision. You can't talk of growth without looking at issues of health. That information needs to go down to local government. We have done a lot at the national level, like what the DJ representative said. I'm so impressed by the presentation of the DJ budget because he spoke like a health person, not just a person. And congrats, sir. The same message, the same way he speaks. How do we get the 700? How many local governments? 774 local governments to start speaking the same way that our friend, Professor spoke this morning, because he knows the importance of that. The next and also very important is the issue of accountability and transparency. I mentioned in my earlier submission that we should get to a place where we put funds together and the stock even donor partners funds and be part of that pool at the local government level. But that will not happen if there are no accountability mechanisms in place and judicious use of resources. So we must support local governments, we must support states to set up strong accountability mechanisms to ensure that funds are used for what they should be used for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I come to you, Professor Obina. You showed in your slide, perhaps one of the highest out-of-pocket expenditures globally. Again, one of the lowest level of public financing globally, consider the fact that we're a rich country. First point I would like you to make. So with about 90 million Nigerians, being in that poverty bracket, where do they even get? That's on one hand. And on further reflection, what do you think, or how best do you think you can make the case to get more help from, more money from the likes of Dr. Nigeria?
Well, we can get more money different look at this investment thing. But for me, I'm right now, I'm looking more health available. I guess we have to have money in this one. It's how we make it up. So, in all of priority, I'll be on the other side of our business. How do we make more efficient resources in the what we have? And then should many companies with less money can achieve more. So how do we, first of all, one is targeted budgeting. I think from budget office, there's no direction how the budget targeted to achieve growth. It's after those days where there was real good emphasis and leading to budget. But now I call the budget around and budget is nowhere because there's nothing not aligned to achieve any target. So we need to get our budget right. And when we get our budget right, we need to use total use of public resources. We need to be more efficient in the one we have already that they will deliver services. We talk about 90 million people. Now, you are in the forefront of fighting the fight for this generation. What proportion of that fund gets to citizens now? 30% go to services.
when the 70% goes taking office, so many things that you not get to people. So we need to get this right. Even if you come, I could say, up 1 billion into this, the setup we have, we want to take months. Until we get the governance right, and we also have the human resources challenge, and we have people who are not trained, that's economics, that's management, who don't have the skills, but are pure biological people running the system, and they run the system down. So I think, if you get our governance right, have the right people there, become more efficient with the resources we have, and I think we're going to achieve a lot. If you, for instance, get 2 trillion into the provision fund, 70% of the rate will go where it disappear. Still, what cases the people will be less. So I think the issue of corruption has to look into it, already has this accountability. These are things we actually have to tell ourselves is good. And not just pumping more money, but the money will disappear.
Maybe one option is also to have a defined benefit package so that the money that's allotted by government is tied to a benefit package and the beneficiary is identified.
Yes, I think that is quite important to have that. So when we mention vulnerable people, how does it work? People in primary school, nursery school, part of the vulnerable. So like I agree with that, all these targeted benefit package and we go through those. And then we will reduce what we implemental state and all kind of activities and all that. We have more money for the people.
Okay, so I think that should be reflected. There's a lot of course for Professor Bina. Please let me put up that slide as I go to okay. My data says 5.3, but yes, I know it has come to 4.6, but 4.6 still makes Nigeria a early demographic transition state because our total fertility rate, either by people or young people, is still about 4. The second bucket of countries are those that TFR, Ghana, and Rwanda, theirs are below 4. And just looking at this slide, I don't know if you can see properly, and the point you were making, and I just wanted to emphasize this so that the others can see it. Whilst you have the average, mine is 5.3, but then you have huge disparities, urban and rural, very high in the rural areas, very high in the 3 northern geopolitical zones, very high amongst women who don't have education, very high, of course, as can be expected.
I actually mentioned that.
Forest income. So with this, and you have the opportunity of better coverage represented by, as you can see, Professor Adele is taking notes. What are the, I don't know, hello, the people online. What is that message you want Professor Adele to take to DG them and capitalism? Because it's going to send you the note. What is the 1-2 messages for him to take to DG them? Based upon this information, I think you are very clear. There's a close relationship between poverty and rural. That is also close related and productivity. If you want to change this without addressing your very serious. And what has happened over the last few years, we have noticed a decline in the allocation of family plan. And with the COVID epidemic, also what happened? More babies are born. Many more women died because they couldn't have access to care. Our system became so exposed that we're really very weak. I think the most important thing there is we need to allocate more resources for family planning and sexual reproductive health services. If we are going to get our fertility under control and allow the family to grow faster than our population, so that people can have access to water, they can have access to electricity, they have better rates. The insecurity that is much higher. For people are abroad, the less likely to be given. So I think the message is that what happened this year, no allocation whatsoever is a disaster for us. I'm happy that this has been corrected. The 2023 budget, there is an allocation for family.
Okay,
so
that's progress.
We will hope that the money will be enough. But there's already a commitment by the
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sarah. So just to note that we've had an activist budget office. We need a round of applause for the budget office. We've really never had it so good. First, like President said, there's been a constant allocation through statutory transfers for the basic healthcare provision fund. There's been a constant allocation through statutory fund for Gavi. During the pandemic, the budget office played a real important role in providing extra allocation for the health sector. The budget office provided extra allocation for purchase of oncology equipment. Amazing things that office has done, and I think they do this. So I come to my last panelist, Dr. Alani. You've heard from all of us here in the last hour and a half. We work directly with the president of Nigeria. What would be the 1-2 things that you would say to Mr. President to say that has resonated with you and you think, Mr. President, we need to do this for the health sector before me? What would that be?
Thank you. Before that, let me just say in 1 minute, to answer the private sector question of what we are doing to make sure that we give them comfort and encourage this. Because whatever Mr. President does in terms of allocation and other things, as I said earlier, we still need the support of the private sector. And we're looking at over the next 4 years, we're looking at 85% of the need being financed. Now, one of the things we have done is we have a voluntary to this NGP that is not really available. That voluntary talks about reforms, guidelines, what government needs to do to be able to incentivize the private sector. It's a very important document. And the ministry, the national planning arm, is already following it for National Assembly, Justice, and so on. So that even the PPP health sector one, the PPP for the health sector, one of these things. And that's, in the reform is one of the things I think we will have to prioritize. We will have to tell the government that we're going to give them comfort in the health sector. There's a need to have a specific PPP that is tailored to that sector. And then, of course, the need to continue to increase the budget allocation. Government has to be able to not be just an but also to participate in the giving of the vital sectors like the health, so that we can encourage.
Thank you very much. Let's round of applause for my panelists. So take two questions. Just for taking 2 questions. I think we need to keep the
Thank you, Moderator. Actually, I just want to respond quickly to the issue of family planning services and products. See, we have talked about this before. We have noticed it. but it boils down to the priority of the sector itself. What the minister does, and what the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning does, is to estimate how much resources we're likely to have in 2023, and based on the priority of government, allocate these resources to sector NDAs. Now, the allocation of the resources provided in the health sector depends on the sector itself. And now we're talking of the political economy of health. It's important that stakeholders effectively engage the sector to see the importance of making provision for family planning products and services. We have noticed it. So that we can be able to see the counterpart funds that donors funding and leverage fund or so. But then again, we need to go beyond that to make sure that such provisions are not for monitoring or for therefore
other operational costs. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, please a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, because of time, we cannot take any questions, but I'm sure they covered most of the bases. And because of questions that we have, they're trying to do their best to provide. Before you come down, we need to take the votes. Please, the MD of Nigeria, Tosh, please join them. Professor Adele.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You need to go down. Sister. Go down. Go down.
Please, while the pictures are being taken, really appreciate if our platinum sponsors be on standby because we'd love to have a photo session. Thank you so much, our panelists. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate you. That's what we're getting started. Please stay back. Professor Akane, please do not urge you to stay back. Please let's quickly invite our platform sponsors from GHAI, Dr. Emmanuel Akasan, please meet you on stage. DRPC, Dr. Stanley Lupai, please meet you. Pathfinder, Dr. Amina Dori. UNDP, Mr. Maroko Bandara, please we meet you so we can have this session. We appreciate it. Just a few seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, please remain on your seats. The tea break is already being served. That's because time is really fast spent. We need to quickly move things along. But just relax while you're having a tea break. We'll have the next item on the agenda. Alright, so let's quickly have a photo session. Alright, Professor Adele, take quick. Just quick one. There we go. Professor Adele, we have to say thank you so much. That's what we see. We have to take all the pictures, don't worry, that's all. We're taking it up. So let's have pictures of our partner sponsors as we give them a round of applause. Yes, we appreciate you supporting Nigerian Health Watch and of course supporting the Future of Health Conference as we have the conversation, the politics of health. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So without any further ado, let me invite Chioma here for the next item.
Hello everyone.
Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Felma Thomas Abeku. I am the communications coordinator here at Nigerian Watch. I'm here to introduce the Vote for Health Nigeria advocacy campaign, a project that we are passionate about. There is no arguing the role a healthy population plays in the prosperity of any nation. Truly, we're nothing without our health. And although health is important, we've come to realize that when it comes to voting in a political arena, people do not vote with health in mind. Given Nigeria's political history and the funds earmarked for health since the Abuja Declaration, it's obvious that health is not a top priority in the political agenda. Now, when we started the Vote for Health Nigeria advocacy campaign in 2018, our main aim was to push health up the political agenda and ensure that it takes its rightful place of prominence along the economy, security, and other priority issues in the political discourse. Most importantly, it was to start building